Hello and welcome to episode 18 of our Timberborn Update 6 Waterbeavers playthrough here in Cycle 18, Day 1. Had a little bit of a crisis last episode, but it's going to be okay. Even if it's not going to be okay, it's still going to be okay, because that's how it works. But we've managed to mostly kind of solve some of the problems. That's a whole nothing burger of a statement right there. But a lot of what happened last episode that went truly terrible was because I forgot to raise this floodgate dam, which is something I am going to do my very best not to forget again. But, you know, other stuff that's going on is, of course, being made worse by the fact that we have a whole bunch of dirty beavers who are not able to work because they are dirty, and we have all these other ailments and different things happening, and there's not a lot of food, and there's not a lot of water, and everyone's... Oh, well, actually, nobody's thirsty, but a decent number of them are hungry, which means they walk slower, which means stuff gets done slower, which means everything crashes and screams and grinds to a screeching halt, and, you know, nobody's happy. But we do have the ability to recover from this. We just have to be pragmatic about it. So we have all of these different buildings making food stuff. These are already paused, the cooking tents are. But this cooking tent is not paused, and there are 767 pumpkins in here. I'm just going to hit pause. They can take those pumpkins back out, and they can munch on those things until their heart's content. Other than that, food-wise, we're going to have to wait on stuff to grow and get harvested, and all that fun stuff and different... strategies to prevent things from going completely terribly bad. But the good news is more beavers are not contaminated, and we do have enough jails for those who are. This was very regrettable right here, having this this whole area be polluted with the bad water because I failed to you know, do anything about stuff. So we are unfortunately going to have to just kind of gradually flush this by putting clean water in here. But right now, it's probably fine. I'm just going to turn this off because I can't really waste any water. We've got beavers dying of hunger. We've got them, well, mostly dying of hunger. But hopefully that doesn't last too long. I don't have enough beavers to work all of these prioritized jobs because, well, everything is terrible currently. So what I need to do is I need to find buildings that are currently... taking up jobs that don't need to be operating, and I need to pause them, but I have to be careful because, again, things are houses. So what we need absolutely to be doing is having beavers shoved into these water pump upgrades, so I'm going to prioritize those specifically. I don't have these turned on because I don't need that many house things, and we should, operative term being should, be able to give something to the beavers to drink that is not strong alcohol. That is a terrible thing to be drinking if you are thirsty. But I digress. The rest of this cleaning is going to just take time. You know, it's our favorite saying ever. But we should also take a look at our mushroom growers. We don't have sawdust, which again is a byproduct of all of these different things that aren't really being, you know, made very well. Because we have all this other stuff going on. It's just a thing. It is just a thing. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and pause this mechanics lodge. I know it's only one job, but it's also 3 beavers worth of dwelling that we don't want occupied. We don't have to have that being a waste. Let's actually hit pause and think about this for a little bit because we are in a pretty precarious position. Just want to make sure we're making the best possible choices. This factory has a bunch of dwellers in it. Obviously, none of them are working right now because, well, there's other jobs that they're going to be prioritized doing. And we're only making metal blocks, which we're not really, you know, don't really have a need for right now. So, I'm going to actually pause the factory. We already had the paper mill paused, but I'm going to pause the factory because we don't need to be worrying about this, and it's pretty far away for a housing unit from all these other things. This primitive ironworks doesn't have anyone working here anyway, so I guess that's fine. See, these things right here do not say they can work without haulers, or not haulers, without employees, but we're not getting nenifars for a while, so let's just hit pause on this. This does mean they are going to eat these. However, I'd rather have the beavers survive, and we already have some methane in here anyway, so that's totally fine. This fermentation barrel with the chestnuts, water, whatever, don't care about that, but I'm going to deprioritize that as a job. Half-fermented sake, kind of the same deal. There's also water in here. I'm just going to hit pause on this so we can get that water out. That's going to be fine. The alchemist is not currently using any food. They're just using sunflower oil to make nitroglycerin, but we don't need to be making nitroglycerin right now. So let's hit pause on that. Then you come over here, we have these two distilleries. Now, the strong alcohol is a necessary thing for us to be able to, you know, treat injuries and all that stuff like that. But, again, it's one of those things we really don't need right now. And the pollution resistance factor is also a nice thing, but we can't get anything out of this except the 300 water that's stored in here. And if I pause too many things, then bad stuff's going to happen. However, I'm just going to go ahead and pause both of these distilleries and get those beavers out of there, get those things out of the jobs, get the materials out of there. Everything just has to get taken care of so we can actually survive. And then, of course, we have all of these different farm things, but we kind of need food, so I'm not going to mess with that. And up here, we're making screw press axles very, very, very slowly. Someone did leave a comment saying that we should have probably at least one more of these. We can have one always making screw press axles, and another one that we could have either making screw press axles or just straight up sawdust, depending on what we are trying and needing to do. But for right now, we do still need to have screw press axles, so I can't take everybody out. But what I can do, yes, I know that says 14 days and 14 hours, but it's at 91%. If I just take the rest of these workers out and leave one in there, then that's going to keep going, even if it's slow, and we will get that eventually. Like we said, these... oh, this one wasn't paused. But they can't eat the rice by itself, so I guess this one is fine. It says it can function without workers. It is prioritized by haulers, so it can, in theory, work if stuff is brought to it. We just don't have any rice because all the rice has not been harvested or is dead, or both. Alright, so if we hit unpause now, that will redistribute some of this stuff, just to speed that process up a little bit. That's looking a whole lot better, down to the 9 or 10 vacancies, and now we have five homeless beavers we can deal with pretty easily. This is set to replant dead trees, so that's going to get taken care of just fine. Don't have any worries about that. And it looks like stuff is flowing through here nicely. We have our lotuses growing. I think I'm going to have to consign myself to just say, okay, these can be harvested as nenuphars. We can use them for food. We can use them for methane eventually, and just forget about that. The other thing, and this is kind of what I had thought about doing before, was to plant some lotus stuff over here with one of the large farmhouses, and just keep the large farmhouse paused so that they can't actually harvest them as nenuphars. They just harvest them as lotuses. There's no rule against that. Well, there's not really any rule against anything, to be perfectly honest, but I just thought this would be a smarter thing to do. And of course, when it gets reset during bad tides, then you can just unpause it, they get replanted, and everything is all hunky-dory. This river bath basically doesn't need to be here. This is taking up valuable real estate. There's better ways to keep beavers clean. And then this scrambled log stairs also does not need to be there. That can just be a very quick and simple regular wooden stairs. All of this rice is dead. That's just the way life goes. Do we have blueprints for the large farmhouse? We have so many blueprints. I have to make sure, because, you know, bad stuff's going to happen if I forget. Let's just check and see the range on this guy. Put that right there. That is probably about as good as we're going to get, and it's also in the middle of the rice for harvesting. So that's fine. We're going to build that there. I'm going to put this farmhouse here instead. They can work in tandem. And I know there's upgrades I can put onto the large farmhouse, like waterproofing, but this is never going to be deep enough for that to be a problem. This can, in fact, tolerate the amount of water that is currently in here. It's going to be totally fine. It says it can tolerate a meter. So we're going to be just fine. Just have to get this built. I know this is a very low priority right now while we're in crisis recovery mode, but it needs to happen. It needs to happen, or bad stuff is going to happen. So that's fine there. I'm going to make sure that all of this is lotus. What is the range? Okay. Yeah, this area right here, like I said, is going to be completely destroyed when bad water comes in here. But these cycles are typically, 12 to 15 days-ish on normal, so we probably will be okay. Not perfect, but probably okay. I think we can be reasonably happy with that. But yeah, stuff it's recovering. Is it recovering quickly? No. But it is recovering, and I think we should be able to save a lot of our beavers here. So, we have 7 with mild disease. Only 4 are dirty now, which is good. That is an improvement. There is still nasty in here. This will probably be here for quite a while until we have some sort of other flushing strategy. This is all contaminated, died due to contamination, etc., so on and so forth. It is what it is. Is there one of these that is close to... Oh, 98%. Very good. I'm going to unplant that. I'm going to put a staircase here so that these farmhouses have a better chance of getting to this area. That will just help everything get nice and improved. These primitive mines need to move somewhere else. I don't have a good place for them yet, so they're going to stay there. Water's recovering very nicely. I suppose I can go ahead and unpause. I will do 2 of these water pumps. So we can get all the homeless beavers housed, and we can also get these guys pumping, because, again, you have to pump. Non-negotiable. And I think we're good. As long as we can start making some more sawdust. I know that is that's a thing that's just going to take time. It always does. We're at 95% here, and I do have 2 beavers who are not working. So let's get those guys in there, get this thing finished so we can start doing some more sunflower oil pressing. What a delicious sound. And that's that. This dynamite also needs to be exploded. B for boom. Which now means the range on this... Okay, it actually didn't increase anymore. I did say I was going to move these. I was going to swap them. But we do have to wait for these to get removed. And these pumpkins, please let me click on something. Why can I click on nothing? Okay. These are not being replanted, so this 4x4 square is going to become the new large farmhouse. And this guy's going to go over here, but... It does just take time. That should help save more of our crops. Long term, I would really like to be able to stop this bad water from doing anything. But that is going to require, and I don't know where this is. It's somewhere, but that nuclear reactor thing that goes on the bad water source, that should help us out tremendously. Alright, so this lumberjack flag has jacked all of the lumber that I have flagged. Therefore, we have to flag more lumber for it to jack. Let's just go ahead and get all of this completely removed. I do fully expect that we will have brambles stick around, and that's fine for right now because I do have to have the flowers. But eventually we do need to get to those domesticated brambles, which, I'm going to be perfectly honest, I don't remember where they are. It looks like they're right here. See, these guys, every 19 hours, if you can harvest them correctly, plant them and keep them in whatever caged-in area, then they will give you 2 every 19 hours versus, you know, just cutting down the wild ones, and you can kind of keep control of it. But that requires the tree nursery, which is one of those buildings that has to be made with these exotic seeds. And 700 dirt, which 700 dirt is going to have to come from the mechanical drills, which we can't research yet. And the exotic seeds come from the wonderful, fantastic balloons that we have. It's the folktales. We have to give them spicy soda and methane, and we get 5 exotic seeds. We have to have 50, so I do have to send them 10 times that amount. I have to send them 100 methane and 500 spicy sodas to have all those seeds. And we're technically making methane, maybe, slowly. Spicy sodas are a different matter entirely. We can, you know, of course, make those in the cooking house, but that is going to take time. Just laying out the roadmap, and of course, you know, we have to have all sorts of other stuff like these sky exploration points. How do you get those? You get them from the scouting balloon. How do you make the scouting balloon? You have to have a balloon. How do you make the balloon? It gets made in the Handicrafter's Lodge, which is right over here. How do you make the balloon? Well, we actually have the materials to do that right now, if we felt so inclined. But the balloon does have to be researched, and the balloon trader landing pad has to be researched, and that has a blueprint that has to be researched. So we're not horribly far away from having the balloons, but it's not something we need to focus on right now. It's just a thing. But we should probably look into doing the blueprints for the balloon trader landing pad at some point in the near future. And that, of course, is not made in the Mechanics Lodge. That is made, I believe, in the Architect's Lodge. Yep, there it is. But we need the scaffolding more than we need that right now, so again, we're going to leave that as it is. Let these guys keep doing what they're doing. Have we done anything over here at all? They have built the stairs. Good job. And they're working on this just very slowly, but we do have all the materials. We'll let them do what they have to do. I'm not going to push these guys. They've been through enough. I know that's right. Yeah, I guess... I really don't know what to do about this. Because we have all of these blueberries here. I don't want them to die. These got poison, so they're done. But these guys here are still producing berries, which we do still need. I think probably the best thing to do... It might not make sense to you, but I think the best thing to do, honestly, is just to, you know, dam this back up, put a levee in here, and just leave it there. Let it all completely dry out, and then just refill with the fluid dump. That's going to be the least painful way to handle this. So, we'll just go ahead and pop that back in there. They can build it. I'm not going to be that worried about it. We got some time. And just leave it alone. Food-wise, again, still recovering from all that nonsense. We still have 300 pumpkins in the cooking tent, which is good because we do need to have those. But I really would like to start making the actual food products again at some point. Just takes time. And the rice has to regrow and get harvested, so on and so forth. But life goes on. That's the way things go. I do think it is time for us to start the process of doing diversions here. Which, this is far away. It might not look like it's far, but because of the terrain, this is going to be a challenge. We're going to need to do some significant demolition and then have a channel that can just be diverted back off of this way. And because the only method of diversion we have is the floodgate dam, I'm going to have to put one of these guys right here, and then we're going to have another channel probably right about here. That will just go off that way and can be plugged up by another floodgate dam. We could, in theory, just, you know, take these blockages away and have something else go somewhere else, but this is only too wide, and that just complicates things. This is about as good as we're going to get. That will help us for when good water turns into bad water, but the actual bad water itself, like I said, has to be done with the nuclear reactor, which I actually don't remember where it is. Let's use our tool finder to search for that, and that is in... No, it's not the right one. It's under... Oh, okay, it's under power. Basic nuclear reactor goes right on a bad water source, but it requires clearance, which we don't have because we have these ruins and these natural overhangs here. The abyssal nuclear reactor, of course, has to go inside the abyss, but this, again, very, 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 very far off. But this is going to be the only way we have to prevent this from going anywhere. We can kind of limit the amount of damage that it does by taking away these blockages here, so it all just flows off before it gets to this point, and that will help keep this terrain a little bit cleaner. This needs to be set to planting priority, so that can actually have something get done. But when I have the ability to actually get up here, I will start taking this out just so we can have other stuff all set, ready to go. It looks like they're working on this one piece of ruins here. They've already gotten most of the scrap metal. So we do need to get up here eventually. It's just going to be a little bit of a challenge without ladders to get ascended this way. Ladders, need I remind you, are 800 science in this mod. So that's where we're at. Have we made any progress in the large farmhouse? No. Okay, well, let's just go ahead and speed it up. Things are stabilized. They're not great, but they're stabilized. Food will slowly recover. We'll just keep an eye on this for whenever that gets removed in a couple days. But I really want them to start planting these things here, because that is... Ooh, that's really cramping our style in a bad way. Okay, so they already finished that one screw press axle. It's in here, but there's not enough sunflower seeds. Those do have to be grown and harvested and not consumed for food. So, it is what it is. I really don't want to take this one off of making screw press axles. And I really don't have enough beavers to build another one of these, but I feel like we kind of don't have a choice. We're going to have another one of these log gnawing stations just to create sawdust. Because this isn't quick enough. 1 hour, 2 sawdust. We're consuming so much more of that. It is what it is. So I am going to, with great regret, have to put one of these over here. I suppose it's just going to have to go a place like right here. I know it's far away from everything, but it's Waterbeavers, man. Everything takes time. So we're going to leave that there. But we can, like we've kind of already started doing, we can start condensing storage. I know some people get really mad about me not having enough storage for different things. Like, buddy, there's probably almost literally 1,000 different items in this mod. I cannot have storage for everything just because. But we'll get there. So long as we trust the process, just let it be what it's going to be. Of course, they haven't even gotten close to getting started on this. Okay, planks are going to take a little bit of time. I know I could have built storages over here, but look, building stuff takes just as long as having them bring these materials over. It's going to be okay. Don't need to worry about it. Just let it be what it's going to be. Most important thing is getting water stores back up, trying to depollute, etc., so on and so forth. Just letting stuff be what it's got to be. See, this is already cleaned. It's day 5. That didn't take that long. It definitely did take a long time. Yeah, I think we're going to be okay. But these guys now no longer have access to any of these because they can't get to this one thing of ruins. So we are going to need to put in a staircase here. This will need to be connected. That needs to be prioritized. This staircase can go away because they're not going to need to get back up there ever again. Check on our... Oh, good. So yes, we're going to build another large farmhouse. Is this going to matter? I got to turn off my... Oh, that turns off the blue thing too. Okay. Oh, I can't see anything because this thing's in the middle. Okay. That's going to reach everything that we need it to reach. Actually, yeah, that's perfect. Let's put that there. They're going to have to build this first, and then I'm going to get rid of this, and then I'm going to have to build another irrigation lodge. But as long as we don't have bad water coming through here, then I can wait to build the other irrigation lodge. Just going to have to do what we have to do. That's just about done. Then these guys can get to work on that. But I think only one of them can do it at a time because there's only one face. So I will pause those two, get those workers back, put us back on equal footing here. 1,100 water is looking good. Food is, yeah, well, food is what it is. Just finish the large farmhouse and plant me some lotus flower things here, and we're going to be in great shape, folks. Well, assuming we don't have another bad tide come in. That would be a crushing blow. So, all that to say, yes, I am aware we need to be working on this. No, it's not going to be soon, but assuming we can get this stuff all taken care of, then we can work towards slowly over the next couple of episodes to getting that all facilitated here. Crude saw blades, definitely need to have a whole lot of those. We do actually have a storage for them now, yes. But we're going to need more primitive ironworks, which means we need more anvils, which means we need more of all this other stuff. So you can see kind of why I'm reluctant to do too many different things at once, because it takes a long time. The scrap metal, I really don't know that I can afford to put 100 scrap metal into another anvil right now. So for what we're working on right now, this is going to have to be good enough. Alright, so that's working there very slowly. No progress on that, as to be expected. But we are very close. Just 3 planks remain until this can start planting. I'm very hopeful that this can be finished. I don't think someone's going to come finish this tonight, which is... Wait, could this be our hero of the hour? Carrying logs? Probably not, because I guarantee those are going into this farmhouse. But if you can make a... Oh, no, you're not going to make a quick pit stop and just finish the construction. It's at 90%. Come on, man. Well, at the very least, we should be able to still get a whole growth cycle out of these before a bad tide would come in. Maybe, if they can get planting. But I just... There's so much that's got to get done here to make this viable, and we're going to have to either blast out a lot or we're going to have to build buildings, which, of course, if they are buildings that house beavers, and they're being used as a dam. You cannot pause them. Yeah, this is just, it's rough. This map is brutal. And I kind of am severely regretting choosing this one for this playthrough because it's caused us already just so many problems. But you can't be too mad about it. It is hard. That is kind of the whole point of the Waterbeavers to begin with, so it is what it is. I do think now that we have... That's the wrong building to click on. I do think we have enough salt to turn the pumpkin chip production back on, but I don't want to use the sunflower oil for this yet because it's not really gaining us that much. So instead, we take a look at our cabbages. We don't see very many of those, and we don't see very many mushrooms either because the, what do you call it? Sawdust is not being produced nearly enough. This thing isn't started because, of course, it's not. We have all these other construction projects we have to take care of, but look at this! In one day, they planted all these lotus flowers. And now I pause the building, because they're all planted and there's nothing else for this to do ever again, unless these get wiped out by a bad tide. So, 8%, 8 days. It is very likely, within the next 7 3/4 days, that this is going to have a bad tide, and then these are all going to die. But you have to try. You absolutely have to try. So now this one farmhouse, all by itself, can plant the rice, and then these guys can help harvest. Going to be totally fine. Once this rice is planted, we're going to pause this because that's just not something we want to be messing with. We do have a rice storage kind of near. That's working out. This is going to take some more logs, but that is also fine. This will continue to dilute a little tiny bit, and then, you know, this is all irrigated again, so that's looking fine. We can still grab those guys. Looking good. Looking better. Maybe not technically good. Oh, they actually didn't take the nenifars out of this because I don't have storage for them. That was fortuitous. But they are eating the ones that they're pulling out of here. So, it is what it is. Again, the rice we are supposed to be using as fuel to make the rice balls, which is a thing that is happening, so that's good to see. Can't turn that back on quite yet. Don't need the nitroglycerin because we're not trying to make that much more dynamite currently, but the time will come. I'm just going to keep this one in my back pocket for that time. I know we were talking about making the basic balm so we could have everything for the minor burns. But remember, basic balm requires lotus flowers, which we don't have yet. So that is fine, just as it is. Now, after another day, says 21%, we might actually stand a chance. Might actually stand some tiny bit of a chance. Alright. Still haven't started on this. Alright, well, it is what it is. How are we looking here? Okay, that started with 90, now it's down to 75. That's okay. The scrap metal keeps disappearing. But I'm not using it in the factory because that's turned off. So what is happening to my scrap metal? There's so many recipes I cannot possibly keep track of what gets used in what. Something, it is what it is. We can, of course, still make it here, but, again, limited resources. This is the theme of the day. Planting more and more rice. These also take 8 days, so if we have a bad tide, these are all toast, but you have to try. Absolutely have to try. We got a lot of trees that aren't being harvested. That has been a topic of discussion as well. We will need to continue building large piles. I probably should just research these industrial ones, but I don't have the science yet because we don't have kimchi. Why don't we have kimchi? Because I paused the fermentation barrel because we didn't have cabbages or bramble flowers. You can quickly see how this is how this has been a thing. Now, I guess I should probably look into the nursing license. Nope, I can't make that because I have to have basic balm. Oh, boy. Library books, however. 5 sheets of paper and a pencil set makes a library book. If we want to have the ENS, then we do have to have the incredibly compact library set. So we will need to make that, and that also has to go in one of those screw axle presses. Now this is up and making sawdust, so that should help our mushroom numbers considerably. Remember that these don't have workers right now because we have a incredibly huge deficit. A whole bunch of incapacitated beavers. Mild disease requires bramble flowers, which we do not have. We just really, really, really got to get something else going here. I think, provided that we could actually get the domesticated brambles set up at some point without being 15, 20 episodes in the future, then that would be the best way to do it. But for now, all we have is just to harvest these wild brambles. So that is what this area is going to be. Pretty much all we can do with that. But this large farmhouse can still help harvest absolutely everything. Let's, you know, deprioritize the specific stuff. Just let them harvest what they can. Now we're finally building this large farmhouse, which means, well, I don't need to keep saying the same stuff over and over and over again. You guys, hopefully, have a better short-term memory than I do. We can actually make sunflower oil. But now I don't know what they're doing with it. Because I have this paused. I know I have storage here. But it's only 2/3 full, so maybe that's what they're doing, is they're just filling up storage. So many things to try and keep up with. I know we did talk about building a cooking house. But all the stuff I'd want to make with this still needs lotus flowers. That's the fried rice is a great food. But, again, lotus flowers. Soon, TM. Let's pause that. This is at 49%, and then, so another 8 days from this exact moment. So, we'll call this 2 o'clock. I know that's not how the Timberborn clock works, but it's at the 2 o'clock position relative to how we perceive time. 2 o'clock on day 19. Should this water still be clean, we will have lotus flowers. And this is early enough now that if we do get a bad tide warning tomorrow on day 12, we can still probably harvest some of these as nenifars and, you know, not completely waste everything. But the rice is probably going to be toast. We'll see. But those are both paused. Things are looking okay. This is now completely blocked off. We will never remove that. I'm going to let some of this evaporate. It's going to take like half a cycle, but I think that's the right way to go about it. Water is getting nice and full. I think based on that and where we find ourselves with needing other jobs taken care of, so many incapacitated beavers, I'm going to go ahead and pause those water pump upgrades. I'm going to pause these 2 water pumps. I'm going to unpause that one and unpause that one, so all the beavers who are working are in a closer area here. That should help a little bit, just a touch. And yeah, if we can get these cabbages harvested any faster. I just need to have more beavers working in the large farmhouse so I can, you know, take everything out. But I have to have more beavers who are not incapacitated. And all that has to do with stuff that I've already said why and how we can't get it done. So just going to let it be what it's going to be. At least we have sawdust enough to kind of do some of these mushrooms here. That's at 94%. That's at 87%. These, wow, okay, good. Good. The fast mushrooms are being fast mushroomed. Remember that we did turn these off of the brain-stimulating ones because we had to have actual food to keep the beavers alive. But I think, bad water reserves, we probably need to have another bad water tank or a larger one. If I could find... See, this isn't really a great spot to put... I need to just level so much of this land. It's not going to happen. We have bad water here. I'm going to go ahead and swap this one over to making the brain-stimulating mushrooms. So let them be what they're going to be with that. How close are we on this? Tools. Ah, okay. I knew we were going to run out of those eventually. Let's, crude saw blades looking full. Let's just swap this over here. Scrap metal is in short supply, but it is being actively removed here. We've got 53 left. We got day 13 starting without a bad water warning. That is very good news. Very, very, very good news. That means we have a very good chance of getting some actual lotus flowers. Because remember, this is going to take like a day-ish before it becomes completely impossible to have something harvested here after bad water comes in. Excellent, 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 excellent. Just trying to see here what might be the best course of actions. The bramble flowers are killing me, man. Got to have more of those. And I don't think this wood felling planification lodge can actually keep up. Like, I don't want to have too many of these guys, because then they're going to get rid of all of these before they have a chance to really reproduce. The brambles, not the beavers. But, I don't know why that clarification was necessary. But I just need more of these guys. And the same kind of thing's happening here. But I really just need to have more access to some brambles over here. And I do have, if we peel this back, I do have a pretty clear path if I just put in a couple of these lumberjack flags here. So if I put in 2 right there, and I don't mark these trees, so this can't spread, but I do mark these dead ones, because we know we can harvest those. So I just have to keep those 2 trees in, and then the rest of this can be marked very safely, very easily. These guys... Oh! There's a slope here. Nice. Okay. Well, in that case, let's just mark all of this. Just let them reach whatever they can or want to. Yeah, there's a pretty good amount here. Again, it's far away. We'll have to set up districts another episode, but I do have to actually figure out how those work so I don't completely embarrass myself any more than I already do. Yep. Just making it work. The mild disease is really keeping us down here. Everything else has been contained pretty well. It's just those bramble flowers that are problematic. So we need 7 more tools. Hopefully that doesn't take too much longer. These guys are on the task. And it looks like they might have actually made most of what they need. Still has a screw press axle, sunflower seeds. It's still a very slow thing. As we slowly claw more farmland back from the grips of all this nasty bad water, then we can have more sunflowers. And so on and so forth. We can continue refining everything here. I think... Oh, man. Probably next priority needs to be moving these mines. But creating spaces for those is going to require some demolition. This right here could actually be a decent place to put one if I'm judging my height correctly. Yeah, okay. Okay, let's do that. Let's put one here. There's our bad tide warning. So we have day 15, 16, and 17. This, very simply... Probably coal makes more sense. I can take one of these out. That one's making coal, that one... Oh, they're both making coal. Okay. This is irrigated, though. It will not remain irrigated when a bad tide comes in. This one is the closest thing here, so... That's going to go away. We already have coal storage over there. So that goes away. This path can be straightened. That can go away. That can go away. And I can plant cabbages here, because cabbages are what we are having to work for here. Tool storage goes away. Metal fastener storage can be emptied, and that can go away. Then I can plant a couple of more cabbages here. And just because we're already here, I'll plant these as cabbages. Just let them do what they gotta do. This is ready to go. That means that is donezo. See ya. Bad water does mean I have to build the other irrigation lodge first before I can do anything else. This guy is going to have a range of what? So this does still have to, you know, take care of the rest of this space. So I guess... What was it that I said it was going to make more sense to go here? And... I really wanted to have all of that taken care of, but I don't know range-wise. Yeah, see, the actual range of this... well, give me a flat spot so I can actually measure this. Alright, they're not building it here, I know. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This should be an easy number for me to try and remember. Probably won't. But, see, this guy here... If I want him to cover all of this, then it has to go under here, which it won't fit. So, my only other option is to go here, which would block that area off. I don't want to do that necessarily. This tile here should have no problem taking care of everything else, and it's about the only place I can put it before having enough dirt to make more terrain. So that's where that's going to go. Put this back on so I can actually see, give it a path connection. And then I'm going to have a little bit of space left here. Come on, let me click on the pumpkins. Crying out loud. That will go there, and then I technically... No, because I already have that pumpkin there. So that's going to take up that space, This will take... Okay, you know, that's fine. Pumpkin there, etc., so on and so forth. That should mostly solve a lot of problems. Take this down to... we could leave it on 5. We'll try 5. Alright. If this does not help, then I'm going to be more than a little upset. But it is what it is. You can't do it, so why fight it? More beavers venturing into dark tunnels and being eaten by grues, as one does. I'm not completely writing off the idea of blocking this, but like we talked about last episode, there is some more terraforming or building construction that would have to be done. We don't have time for that right now. What we do have time for, unfortunately, is not getting lotus flowers, so what I will have to do, turn this on, harvesting mode, just get those lotuses, not the lotuses, get the nenuphars out. We'll take them while we can. That's just how it is. The rice is also about to be good to go, so that can be set to harvest mode. Just let them do what they're going to do. These guys, this rice isn't going to be saved. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of these workers out here. And that is just how that is going to have to go. Again, not much else we can do. That construction site, I think, is safe to be fully prioritized. This is looking better. Not perfect, but looking better. Man, it's all these beavers with the injuries and the diseases. We got to do something about them. Are we at least having more of these bramble flowers? I think they're just using all of them. Yeah, that's a shame. Do I have anywhere else I can put in just a small warehouse? Yeah, it's not going to let me do those there because of the overhangs. Don't really have a lot of options here. That's for metal blocks. We're not really using it. Oh, I know what I can do. I can take this, and this out, get us a couple more flowers, and then I can put a little tiny warehouse right back here for some bramble flowers, and that should be a pretty simple thing. And yes, I will remember to close the floodgate dam. I think this is probably mostly unpolluted now. Should be okay. How are we doing on harvesting here? Okay. Yeah, love to see that. This is going to fill up really quick, though. This is empty, so guess what? Nenuphars are more important. Just put those in there. It's close enough. That should be doable. Got 1.7 days. Again, we have tons of wood that we haven't done anything with. We're working on it. We'll get there. We'll get there. Food has recovered enough to the point where I feel like it's probably safe to start making kimchi again, because that does take another 3 days. Get those guys going. Trying not to get too many more beavers before we have everything completely locked down, but I guess we're probably okay. I don't want to pause these pumps. I really need to get these advanced pumps researched. Or the deep pumps. If we can get a better supply of scrap metal, then this would be a pretty viable thing. Science obviously notwithstanding. It's so much more efficient. So much more efficient. But getting this primitive mine with the coal right next to the factory, well, relatively right next to the factory, that's huge. That's a big help. But if I want to put another one here, I would have to detonate 5 things of dynamite. I only have 4. If I want to make more dynamite, then I would have to have... Oh. I'm actually not that short on it. Let's make a little bit of nitroglycerin here. And then I'll have them take that, and then I'll just go ahead and get started with the dynamite. Just very simply here, they should be able to put both of these in. Actually, this one can be last, because they have to be able to reach this. One little piece at a time, and this is a good spot for it, because it's right next to there. Coal and iron at the very least, having both of those will be good. Good, good. We're harvesting so many of these things. That's going to be huge. That's going to be absolutely huge if we can even just save another third of this. That's going to be really great, because then I can turn the fermentation barrel back on. In fact, I'm going to do it, and I'm just going to completely deprioritize that job-wise. Should be fine. I'm just very, very... paranoid's not the right word, probably. Cautious about bad things happening after so many things have befallen our poor beavers. I'm much more interested in getting this finished, so that is... 1.4 days is probably fine. What I don't know is what happened to all of our... Well, I do know what happened to it. It got used up. But we definitely need to start making more. I have a little bit left in this irrigation lodge. That's fine. This one never needed to have the pollution resistance, or the contamination repelling. But this guy does need to make more of it, and that is going to require this stuff get staffed more appropriately. So I guess it's fine we have more beavers coming in. Just this mod teaches you to be very overly cautious at times, which I guess there could be worse things that you're doing. Water at 2,000 is a very good sign. These nenuphars are going to take a long time to come over here. But we are making methane, and it's got a pretty good storage of methane. I think all those nenuphars disappearing means they're being carted over here. Yeah, look at that. We got 115 in there. Looking good. Let's bring me 15 more logs. I don't know why that's so hard. I know that the log storage is probably really far away, which I imagine is what is contributing to this, but it's alright. This one is currently still contamination repelling, so it's fine, but I really wanted this to be put in first. How are we looking here? 29? Alright, can do that. Just these logs, man. I'm very happy with this. I know they're all going to be just completely destroyed, but we have already harvested so many. We've gotten some rice. Things are going to be looking up. Even if it's just rice balls these guys are going to be eating until the end of time, they'll have food. And that is something we can definitely celebrate. We do have a little bit of nasty water in here that we can start supplementing as needs warrant, but I'd much rather these berry bushes be starved of water for a couple days than contaminated with the nasty here, so that is fine. Things are looking good. 0.3 days. Yes, I will be raising this. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and do it now. And in so doing, I will pause all of these so nothing else can be pumped out of it, and that helps our overexpansion a little bit. That's fine. And before the bad tide actually starts, we're going to do one final check. In fact, let's do that now. Pause the game. Is there anything that can possibly go horribly, horribly wrong? This is already shut. That's the main thing. This is currently operating, and it has pollution resistance factor. That is good. This can be paused. And then all of this hopefully will be transferred somewhere else. I don't have a storage for pollution resistance factor? No, I do. Okay. See, this just goes to show how much I've forgotten. So this can actually be demolished, and it will be okay. This is a very, very, very good storage. It has 25 days left worth of supply. That's gone. That will protect all of these crops up here, mostly the pumpkins. I am cautiously optimistic that because this land will be uncontaminated, it will protect these lotuses a lot better. I do realize that is very likely not the case. We're going to find out together. That's fine. This is still closed. I absolutely have to triple check it. I'm probably going to look again. These, we're going to lose these. But I think we can get another half to 2/3 of a workday out of these beavers before I have to close this farmhouse. They've already harvested all the rice, too. That's completely full. That's completely full. And they can also, of course, harvest netifars. So, I mean, they got stuff they can do. That's fine. They're not going to get super infected. But if they do, we have jails. And we have 20 beaver washing machine blueprints. I don't need that many. And if we really, really needed to, we could build one of these if we could power it. So that, I think, is fine. These, we got 5-6 days on these sunflowers before they die. That's fine. I wanted to let this go down a little bit more before I started putting clean water into it. I think that's okay. These are already paused. That may have been a mistake, but I don't think the bad tides can actually be that long in normal mode. So maybe not worrying about anything. I don't know. I'm so paranoid about this now because it's just gone so poorly. Wait, why is this? Oh, that probably splashed when I closed that. All right. Well, triple speed it is. I think we're good. If not, well, we'll find out. Oh yeah, 6 days. Oh, we're golden. We're so good. All right, now here comes the poison. Okay, these are absolutely going to die very, very, very soon. But they're probably focusing more on the rice anyway because that's what's closer. Wow, this actually hasn't said it's poisoned yet. It's honestly a little surprising. Huh. Now I'm curious, how long is it going to take? Because that water looks absolutely foul. Very, very, very surprised it has not at least started that timer yet. Let's put this on triple speed. Oh, okay, there it goes. So, I'm going to go ahead and say it's time to abandon ship. Just pause this joint, get completely out of there. They are going to come and retrieve all of these materials, but that's fine. Just evacuate, take what's on your backs, you're good to go. That does mean I can get more of this stuff going here. And look how much of this has been kept clean. I obviously can't see down here, but I can kind of tell based on these rice paddies that are dying. I think this is about the same amount here that have died, but most importantly, look at all this and look at all these. They're looking good, folks. So that was a very, very worthwhile thing for us to get ourselves into. Feel very good about that. I'm going to put these guys back to work here. I've got 4 beavers in there. These cabbages are going to die because I do not have a pollution repelling thing here. There's not that many that are in harvesting range, unfortunately. So, I mean, I guess I could have these guys, or this one guy, try to harvest all this cabbage. Just let that be what it's going to be. Well, I mean, things are okay. This is all drying out now because this is low enough. Those have 9 days. I don't want these brambles not to be able to spread. I don't want these sunflowers to die, but we can almost get all the way through this bad tide without having to have these get splashed again. So I guess that's fine. So these guys are still, you know, getting super completely turbo contaminated. It is what it is. We have means of dealing with that. But now I know for a fact I can go ahead and pause all of these, blast this off. Now is the time, friends, where we can start looking at some of these other things. This consumes sawdust. I don't want to do that, but we can start looking at some of these other buildings that are currently being used and open those back up. Let's hit pause before we get too messed up here. This building technically is a dam. Not really, but kind of. So I should have that unpaused. And I need space for 20 beavers to live. That is the main issue here. I don't understand. None of these are paused. That can be unpaused. Honestly, let's check the recipe for the mechanical drill. Is that this one? No, this beaver washing machine. There it is. Okay. Well, all that methane probably would make sense to use that for the mechanical drill rather than an engine at this point. Everything else we should have. Yeah, we have exactly 10 pencil sets. All right, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set the mechanics lodge to work on the mechanical drill blueprints. There you go. That's going to help give us housing for 3 more beavers. I guess that's what's been allocated there. 1 more job. Architect's lodge. Researching. Oh, so there you go. The balloon blueprints. Let's just go ahead and why not? Just go ahead and get that started. We have the paper, and then that will allow me to turn the paper mill back on. I think, even though this consumes sawdust, I think this is going to be the best outcome we could hope for right now in terms of redistributing jobs. Yeah, now I just have to find 2 more places of employment for beavers. This is looking good. That's looking good. Actually, if I wanted to get a little bit more space here, well, this is not irrigated. This would be a good time to do it. I'm just gonna see what happens with this. I'm going to kill these seedlings so we can have a chance at actually clearing some space. And then I can put a fence in here. We can have a little bit of storage for brambles, and maybe one of those wood felling planification lodges would be great here. I love that name. Wood felling planification lodge. Yeah, so here these cabbages are going to be suffering. That's doing as expected. But this still remains completely poison-free. Ah, that's so satisfying. Love to see that. And I guess I probably should also be putting in dynamite here. And there. I only have the 2. But that should not be that big of a deal. These are still alive? That's incredible. Yeah, we only got 76% of the way to having lotus flowers. But now that this is put in place, we can immediately replant this just as soon as the water's clear enough. And that's good. I know there's still stuff in here they're going to come grab, and they're all going to be poisoned, and blah, blah, blah. Life is terrible. But it's fine. We're making kimchi, because we have cabbages. And we're getting better at bramble flowers. All right, so triple speed it is. Letting these guys do exactly what they need to do. These homeless beavers will, not be homeless forever. I guess I could turn the distillery back on. That'll help a little bit. Should be okay. And now I just have 5. What else? What else could I even reasonably do? I don't think there's anything. 19 scrap metal left there. We do need to get up there, but I need science so I can get ladders. Probably make that easier. Paper immediately. Pencil sets. Do I have enough dynamite to do the rest of this? I think I needed like 1 more. Let's just check. They still don't have nitroglycerin. What? Oh, it's the saltpeter. I wasn't making any saltpeter. That's also not saltpeter. There you go. Okay. I wish I would have checked on that a little bit sooner, but, it is what it is. Okay, and these are now dead because of contamination. So we will need to splash this, or these are going to take at least a full day to grow back. Yeah, see, this is like most of a full height there. I mean, the water is dropping very, very dangerously low here because we're using a lot of it. So this, all right, we got to pause again. I need to identify what is using or holding a lot of water and pause that stuff. 10, 10, holding 80, but that has halfway through. That's not taking water. Ah, man. Water is such a problem. Such a problem. I really miss the automated water pumps. The mechanized water pump here, this is a new thing for the Update 6 version. Replaces the ones that I kind of technically abused last season with these. But, as you can see, it has to be researched, which we have not done yet, but it replaces 5 basic water pumps and does not require a beaver to work in it. You have to have haulers to, utilize it. But every half hour you get 5 units of water. Every hour you get 10. And it just consumes a little bit of planks. Takes 150 HP to run it, but that's what we really should be doing. Huh. This has a different name than the building name does. All right. I'm assuming this is something that has to be made in the Mechanics Lodge. It's ENS Flag. No, it's not the Mechanics Lodge. That's surprising. Architect? Super fertilizing. There it is. Okay. Do I have the materials to build super oversized water pump blueprints? I mean, I can't really power it that well yet. Okay, let's clarify here. Okay, it does have to be in water. Because the ones in the Update 5 version of the game did not have to be in water. They could just be put on the ground. So this does kind of ruin my master plan of just having a whole bunch of these things all over the map. I say master plan like it wasn't something that I thought about for 30 seconds in the last little bit while talking. Okay, well that kind of puts a damper on that. But we will need to have one of those. So, Architect's Lodge. This is currently researching the Balloon Trader landing pad. This is currently making scaffolding. This one's also currently making scaffolding. I'm going to swap this one over to the oversized water pump blueprint. And I know it's going to take a lot of coal, and we're not making pencil sets yet. But they can start gathering stuff, and that will take care of the rest of the homeless beavers. Work smarter, not harder, etc. I know, bold statement for me. But this one dynamite there will take care of that. I'm honestly surprised more of this didn't die from the contamination. That's just what this had access to, I guess. Still working here. I want to let as much of that evaporate as I can. What is our... Okay, still waiting on one more nitroglycerin. Okay, that's going to be done soon. Probably not before the end of the day. Oh, no, it is. Okay. Well, we do have to wait, and then it's 10 hours, so that will be most of the next day to get that done. Just have to keep an eye on our water here. I did say that. So once that's done, I'm going to have to pause as we get that water back. No water in here. No water in here. There is 100 water in here with the rice balls. We have 232 of those. I don't have mountain salt because I turned this over to saltpeter, which is being actively consumed. So I guess that has to stay the way it is. Well, could be worse. Could definitely be a whole lot worse. And I, as well as a few of you, at the very least, expected this episode to go incredibly poorly because of the mistakes we made in the past, but I think we've recovered about as well as we could have. There is still rice in here. Not rice in the poison, but yeah, anyway. This is going to need to have another storage here. I'm not going to build it right now because, obviously, but we need to have a storage for rice in this general area. That would be a smart choice. Just checking on these guys. 3.4 days, 7 days. All right, good. Good, 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 good. Yeah, this water is dangerously low. We're going to have some thirsty beavers, boys and girls. But guess what? I can turn these 2 pump upgrades back on. And we can keep pumping a tiny bit just to, you know, hopefully make things not quite so terrible. All right, we have our stuff. I'm going to start making these pencil sets again. Hopefully we can get this started researching very, very soon, because it does take 12.5 days. This one, still gathering materials in the way of metal fasteners, which we do have, so that's not a problem. There we go. Now this can actually start researching, and it looks like as soon as that turns to from a 0 to a 1, then we'll be good to go. But it does take a long time because it's 12.5 days. We'll check on that a little bit later. Yep, pencil sets are the thing we're waiting on here. Coal. I know we have coal. It's just way across the other side of the map, so that is going to take time to get here. And we should... Oh, it's the pine resin. Okay, well, we also have that, so that's fine. Gonna have to have haulers prioritize this, probably. Alright. I really, really don't want to dump any water in here because, again, we don't have much. Yeah, we got to take this water out of here. Got to. And then I got to pause this once this one is finished. Come on. Come on, show me that 100. Or the 0, I guess. Alright, pause that. We have 2.5 days left, so I think I can be comfortable unpausing all 5 of these water pumps. We can hopefully at least keep the beavers alive. Other jobs, I got a deficit, but 21 in capacity. That's a side effect of us having these guys schlep stuff through. Okay, this was not smart to have this set as the supply, because now they're coming all the way across the map to put NFRs in here. That I should not be proud of, and I will choose not to be. So 3 scrap metal there does mean that the next scrap metal that we make is, well, we are going to have to make it in this thing until we can get up there. Okay, let's examine if we can even build up here. So right now all I have access to is regular wooden stairs. Spiral staircase, I do have technically the ability to research that. I'm not going to yet. But if I can get up, I'm just going to have... Let's pause and... Oh, I never researched the tall platform either. Let's just take a look here. If the problem with the regular stairs is like this... No, not that. This is the best I can do without having to come all the way over here, without having the other platforms. Like this is just like fundamentally not going to work until we have access to something else. If I use spiral stairs, which I'm not going to unlock yet, then I could just kind of have this go around at like 1 turn. I can't stack these, so it's just not worth doing. Not right now. So this, as tempting as this giant palace of scrap metal is, we're not going to be able to do it. However, we have scrap metal here. We have an Architect's Lodge, aka stairs. And we do have what I was originally going to do with these small platforms. Tall platforms, why did I say small platforms? I can just pop this right here. Totally fine. I can also stack these, which technically more expensive because it uses 2 of these, but, you know, it is what it is. Or I can say, you know what, forget it, I'm just going to research the spiral staircase and be done with it. But I'd very much like to save my science as much as I can until I can reliably produce more. So, this is regrettably probably what I have to do. I do want to try, see if I can stack. Okay, okay, there's no chance that was going to work, but you know how it goes. I'm going to... I'm gonna have to use the spiral staircase, huh? Yeah, the anatomy of this is not encouraging. So I'd have to have the stairs go up here, and then... Okay, well, you know what? It's probably fine. That's gonna be the best I can do, and it will get us up here, like we said we're going to do. And if I were truly desperate and or stupid, I could put in this this thing here, and it would oh, I forgot. I thought the door was on the upper level. Well, I mean, that'll still work. I could just take the stairs out. All right. Well, that's a project for them to do. Put this back on triple speed again. I just wish there was more I could actually do with this. What are these guys doing? 1.5 days. I think, oh man, see, I don't have water to dump is the problem here. Because this is going to have to be pretty significantly overfilled. What am I supposed to do about this? They're going to consume all this water until these beavers get too dirty to work, which is a completely different can of worms. At least nobody's hungry or thirsty, so we have that going for us. Yet. Oh, this has 300 water in it. Okay, hold on. Stop pausing the game. No, I will pause the game. Okay, this has 7 days. This has 21 days. Okay, alright, we're pausing this. We're pausing this. Not pausing this because it's full of chestnut beer. That's totally fine. But I can pause this, which will not, will not eliminate this. It's just going to take the water out. That might save us. I'm going to turn this fluid dump on. Got to try to save these sunflowers. Those are a very hot commodity. Definitely need to have those. Alright, who has nothing to do in range? Oh, you finally finished. Good job. Go do something else. Now, the scrap metal problem is still a problem because where is the scrap metal going? Where is it going? What recipe is using B for boom? Scrap metal. I'm sorry I keep pausing. I have to be able to think. That primitive mine, this one's set for coal. This one is set for iron automatically. That's fine. That's what a lot of these recipes will be using here. What in the heck is using so much scrap metal? This isn't going to tell me, is it? Probably not. No, I can't even build that yet. Can't even build that yet. What is... It's got to be one of these recipes. Okay, not that one. Also not that one. Aha! It is the research for the mechanical drill blueprints that somehow we have not started because we don't have any pencil sets. But that's already full, so what's... Okay, that's making pencil sets. Who is using my scrap metal? It's not that. It's never going to be that. Am I going to have to go through and click on each one of these jobs? I know it's not the alchemist. We know it's not the architect's lodge. We know it's not the artist's lodge. That's pause. That's pause. That's... Well, clay pit doesn't use anything. Cooking tents, I sure hope not. Cowfacedev lodge, distillery, no, no, no. Factories paused. Farmhouses definitely are not. Fermentation barrels not. Fluid dumps not. Foresters are not. Gather flags are not. Irrigation lodges are not. Handicrafters lodge we've already just confirmed is not. Large farmhouses are not. Libraries not. Log gnawing station never does. Lumberjack flags don't. Mechanics lodge we already looked at. Mushroom growers don't. Paper mill does not. That's paused. Wait, what? Builder's tower segment. Which? Why did I... Okay, whatever. That's fine. I guess we don't technically need that right now. Oh, somebody asked if the Pit and Ladder Lodge side door versus tower segment actually have different stats on how many they employ in-house. No. But the Builder's tower segment does employ 3 builders, while the Hauler's tower segment employs 2 haulers, but they're not really the same, so I don't think that counts. Primitive Ironworks. There's your culprit, but that actually needs to be making tools, so I guess that is... Except... Why didn't I think of that? I guess that's fine. Gonna have to have this primitive smelter going, but that's not a good spot, so I'm gonna have to move it. Alright, so before I get rid of that... Okay, that's already down too low for bathing. That's unfortunate, but it is what it is. We have to keep the beavers alive. Do I have... Okay, more importantly, I don't think it does, but does this... Does this... No, it does not. So... Ah, ha. Is this stupid or what? I'm pretty sure it's going to let me get away with this because this shouldn't block any water. Alright, there's your answer, folks. That's what we're going to be doing. This one currently exists, but this is a terrible place for it to be, logistically speaking, so I'm just going to say bye-bye. I can gently coax these things into a more convenient location. There you go. They can grab that junk off the ground. It just makes more sense to have it over here. Okay, good. We saved some of these. Good. 7 days, 8 days. Cool. Cool. I'm going to pause this because we don't need to dump any more water into here yet. Although well, they weren't going to spread any further anyway because of how this was set up. That's fine. It would objectively, for the sake of comedy, be very funny if this actually did block up this whole thing and flooded everything, but because it does not say that it can be used as a levee, I'm going to be mad when if it did that. Alright, these can still keep pumping a little bit. We got a day and a half. That's not going to hurt anything. This has access up here. I don't have a scrap metal gather thing yet, but... Oh, hey, convenient spot. There we go. I guess really all I need to do is get this bit out, and then I can think about replacing this with a building. I guess that's going to be about as good as we can get it. Water is looking okay. Again, not perfect, but it's going to keep the beavers alive. We're just going to have to be real quick on the draw to get these guys back in these pumps. Whenever that time does come back in one day. Okay, so this is now down again, but it splashed them, so that's fine. I don't care about these dying. They're going to breed like rabbits anyway. Both of these are in place. So, coal, iron ore, saltpeter that we probably aren't going to keep needing, because I've got a decent bit of nitroglycerin now. Still can't make basic balm. I have a decent bit of brain-boosting salts, but I probably should keep making those. Still making pencil sets. That's fine. Let's check on our recipes here. Okay, I need 5 more for that. That's disappointing. That hasn't started yet. But this one's at 12%. That is very, very good news. Of course, they're going to keep hoarding the materials for a second batch of blueprints, but we're not going to end up using it for that. That is A-okay. The clay pit is already deprioritized, so no issues there. Okay. I made a mistake. I did not have these set up ready to go, but what I can go ahead and do is I can go ahead and put in my fencing bit. I'm going to do that there. I'm going to do that there. This can now no longer come through here. And I can put the path in place, although I don't need to. Now this can be somewhere where I can put a wood felling planification lodge or a lumberjack's barn. But I don't think we need a lumberjack's barn here. That houses... Oh, actually the exact same amount. It's just this one can have upgrades on it. Well, this also works as a levee, but it has the entrance on the bottom floor. I don't think we want to mess with that. This here is probably about as good as we could expect wood felling planification lodge to be. I think it just makes sense for us to be able to have access to all of these brambles at the much higher speed, so that is what's going to go there. This is going to get popped in there. And now, friends, guess what? We survived. The beavers were so thirsty they drank all the strong alcohol, and now they're all stumbling drunks, but they didn't die. Well, they didn't die of thirst, at least. Very, very, very exciting stuff, folks. Because now it is just in time for this to be clean. Let's go ahead, get these guys back in here. I'm actually using paper, so I kind of can't mess with that. There we go. This is now clean. Let that water in. I have 28 open jobs, but that's probably because we have 8 dirty beavers. Other stuff can get adjusted as necessary. Looking good. Looking good. Still has another 19 days. I'm just going to leave that on that because this stuff is so quick and simple to make. But yeah, we gotta get some more workers. I know I'm trying to keep the population down, but there's so many different jobs, it's almost impossible to avoid. Did they finish building this? They did. Very good. Function without workers. There you go. That's fine as it is. Can't pause the paper mill, but I need so many jobs. Okay, let's plant. I need to plant those nenifars immediately, so sorry, these guys are going to have to come to work. That is a very important job. Looking okay. Looking okay. I gotta have all these beavers do everything. Cannot wait. 13 contaminated beavers. Yep, that was my fault, but it is the way it is. This is, at the very least, mostly not polluted anymore. They're gonna suffer a little bit, but you know that's showbiz, baby. What can I pause? Is there, because these are doing recipes, I can't really pause them. I gotta have 43 vacancies, but we do have 38 incapacitated beavers. So we have a total of oh man. Oh, now we have 23. We have 23 beavers that are either contaminated or unwell. The unwell ones can still work, but very soon they will become contaminated beavers. Food is somehow doing okay, despite most of the actual valuable recipes being paused. Still no kimchi, to absolutely nobody's surprise. This, I'm going to have water dumped in here. Trying to avoid that. Have to have that. I guess I don't really have to have that. What am I supposed to pause? Builders? Okay, it's already paused. Okay. That's that. Alright. What am I to do? What am I to do here? Because I know we got a whole bunch of beavers living here, which is a choice, but... Hey, we're planting the lotuses, folks. I told you I was going to get a whole cycle out of these things. And now if we can finish planting most of these before the end of day 1, then oh boy are we in good shape. Yeah, the rice, on the other hand, yeah, I don't know. But remember, this is going to be paused immediately as soon as they're finished planting, so that will solve some of our problems. That'll give us 8 beavers back. Yeah, I guess I really can't afford to pause anything, which is really unfortunate. Oh, okay, this was already deprioritized. Guess I was going to have to check on that. Okay, saltpeter not currently being used. We do have a little bit stored here. But I have to have salt also, which I have not been getting out. Alright. Well, mountain salt is a very important thing, so that needs to get done. Those are paused. That doesn't matter. No sunflower seeds here, huh? Well, so that's why we have to keep growing sunflowers. Never ends. Alright, so those are finished. Goodbye. Go somewhere else. Now I have to have this guy plant rice. But that will solve some of our problems. 29 is a much better number than 37 or whatever it was. All these injured beavers, that's for diseases. Where's my injury beds? Is it over here? I don't know. I need to completely rip most of this stuff out. That's Burns. Where's... Alright, I'm just going to click on this. Oh, I only have 1. How did that happen? I thought I had a lot more than that. Well, the sake we don't have anyway, so I guess we can't be mad about that, but we do have rice, so I'm going to turn this back on. Ugh. Gotta get pumping. Gotta get pumping. I only have 17 pumps, or the equivalent thereof. Just gotta have it, man. Gotta have it. I guess technically these would work too. They're just far away. I'm trying not to blow up my population too much. Can't pause that. I've only got 4 beavers working here. This is doing okay, I guess. Oh, how did the brambles get over here? Oh, of course, they crossed through. Somebody didn't put the fence gate in. Okay. Well, that's the kiss of death for half of this stuff. Let's immediately make it so that this is their priority. I don't want them to build the fence, but I do want it to stop them from spreading any further, so I guess that's fine. I probably also really need to end this episode. Oh wow, it's like an hour and a half. Alright. Okay, so it's day 2 of cycle 19. And we've planted our nenufars here. These are already being harvested. That's fine. This is paused. Just a lot to catch up with. A lot to catch up with. And that is just... It's going to take time, folks. I can't pause anything. What am I going to do with this? What am I supposed to do with this? So I need these buildings. I can't get rid of beds. I mean, I could pause the forester, but this is an active lumberjack area, so that's probably not smart. This is, actually, that's just about done. I'm going to go ahead and say bye to these lumberjack flags. That will... See, here I go again, saying I need to stop the episode, and I'm still going. Sawmill. Oh, it's full of planks, so it can't make any more sawdust. That's probably a good sign that I could pause that. Just help us out a tiny bit. Of course, now I'm going to forget, but 8% of the way through that, that's good. 5% there, 21% there. I really wish I could pause these, but I can't. Alright, I gotta stop or I'm going to be doing this forever. I appreciate you watching these videos so much. I'm sorry last episode was a disaster. This one hopefully was a lot better. And while there's still tons of stuff we have to improve, we're making really good technological progress. And things shouldn't be terrible for too much longer. I know I keep saying that, and then it keeps getting disproven, but we are making very good progress, and I really do appreciate you. Beard Boosters, you already know. But in case you don't, they're the folks that make it possible to keep doing these videos every single day and keep the channel sponsor-free, and I don't have to, you know, go sell you hand cream or mattresses or whatever people are shilling on YouTube these days. Just us having fun with the beavers, and then on Sundays with roller coasters. And that is the way I'd rather have it. So those folks, again, really appreciate them. But that's all the time we got for today. Whatever it is you're doing with the rest of yours, stay safe, have fun, and we will see you back again tomorrow for more of our other series with the Project 1K playthrough, and then Sunday for, not beavers, roller coasters. There's no beavers in Roller Coaster Tycoon, as far as I know. But yeah, stay safe, have fun. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.